Salutations and shit, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Travel and Shit, where I, your host, D. Carey, have an experiential conversation about the nuanced ways that travel intersects with regular life. 6 years, y'all. This episode marks 6 years. Technically, October 9th is the anniversary of the first episode, but we're a Thursday release show, so the next day doesn't hurt. I am so happy to be back with 300 episodes also. This is also the 300th episode, 6 years. Um, this is really just like a shoot the shit kind of update because end shit. This is the end shit of it. For those of you that are new here, Travel and Shit is really a dope space, right? Follow me. If you are the friend that loves a good rabbit hole, you see one thing and then you think another thing. And then three things later, Google searches have found you something that is going to now occupy your brain for the next week. And you're going to tell whomever you think you can run into and steal a few minutes of their time from about what you've been getting into. Travel and Shit is for the explorer, the traveler who likes to kind of engage with all of their new surroundings through as many senses as possible. We love a good rabbit hole over here. We love a good story, and we love looking into the little pockets of the world that you wouldn't necessarily think intersect with travel. So those of you that are new, welcome to the crew. And for those of you who have been here with me for 1, 2, 20, 50, 150, 300 episodes, however many you have been here, I am truly so very grateful for your support. And I thank you for rejoining me back here for episode 300. So I just kind of wanted to give that reintroduction to the show, if you will. This is not a show with a ton of heavy edits. I am really a person that enjoys a good conversation. And also, I like to also give this little tidbit about me, this little bingo fact about me with layers similar to the rabbit holes. Like you get into something because I started someplace else. More on that. Anyway, so bingo fact about me. I prefer plans with as few steps as possible. Fewer ways for things to go wrong. The likelihood of a successful execution to me and in my experience of life tend to happen more frequently when there are fewer steps. I am a girl of ease. And so part of that also falls in line with my love of a good conversation. Ease and conversation. This isn't a show with a ton of heavy edits. This isn't a show with a lot of sound design. We are a conversation here. I don't do interviews. I do conversations. And if you haven't already checked out, we don't do episode, what do you call it? Conversations with guests every episode, but there are hundreds of episodes that you can tap into, like I've been reposting over the past couple of weeks, which I will explain in a moment, that have had some incredible conversations about the pockets of life that you don't necessarily think about or consider travel related. But back to the bingo fact, it was a J-Lo movie, one of the movies that she most recently did where she got married, because I'd say maybe 70% of her movies are in some fashion of her in a relationship or getting married. Love a J-Lo movie. One of the last ones where, not John Cena, she was one of the last ones she got married, and Not Marry Me with Owen Wilson. But say all that to say, her character, I think it was Darcy, was big on too many steps. That plan has too many fucking steps. Fewer steps, the better. So we're not doing lots of edits here. This is for fun conversations. This is also a place where we lean into curiosities. I am an infinitely curious person, and I personally enjoy how my brain works. And a lot of you tend to enjoy it with me. So we will definitely be tap dancing down the rabbit holes of things that I find interesting, but also have a travel spin to it. Example, I love all things supernatural. The show Supernatural actually happens to be one of my favorite shows. Um, Best case scenario, I will have a road trip episode or a travel episode where I go to a supernatural convention one day. But until that happens, a lot of the conversations are based on things that I'm curious about, like cryptids, like um, the occult. I love witches, vampire lore, who are the other ones? Werewolf lore. I get into it, go up for all of it. And one of my favorite episodes that I did with um was with Ken of By the Fire podcast, and she was doing a podcast based on stories from around the world that came from somewhere. Like a lot of the old wives' tales that we hear, like one of my favorites is Why Mosquitoes Buzz in People's Ears. A lot of those come from someplace, and they come from someplace because they serve a purpose. And so, in an effort per se to, I guess, express or spread awareness about the dangers of, say, like malaria, a story, a tale, a fable, if you will, was created about mosquitoes buzzing in people's ears. Don't ask me the details, the specific minutia of the details, but that conversation, that episode we did was a window into how different cultures use different stories and fables to give social warnings and to, give pertinent information that may not necessarily travel as openly, freely, and as readily as a good story would. So that is a taste of some of the things that you will get into with travel and shit. And so I hope you enjoy us for the ride. We will definitely be a really fun place for all of the curious travelers out there. So I am happy to have you here and ready to give an update. I took a few weeks off over the summer and I took a break from recording newer episodes because I had surgery. I am, God willing, I don't know where the closest thing would would be, but fibroids, had them removed. And at first I was looking forward to like, oh, I can bang out mad episodes while I'm home. Um, this will be perfect. I can like really dive in deep and baby, got home by like day 3. I said, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill. How about we actually rest when I'm supposed to be resting? They cut the kid open, right? Um, and so I am so grateful for insurance, one, and two, for a partner who did an incredible job. Thank you to my man for taking care of me while I was home, making sure, I mean, he takes care of me all the time, but especially while I was home and, needing assistance, getting up, sitting up, laying back, moving from one chair to another chair. Thanks, babe. And I decided that I would take a break from recording new episodes so that I could actually take some time and for fucking lax to heal and make sure that I, actually get the benefits of being home and not pushing myself too hard. And I had an incredible fucking black ass time. I am so grateful to have had that break. Um, I did a lot, and by a lot, I mean like also nothing. I did shit that I was interested in. I Googled whatever crossed my fucking mind. I did some traveling. I did a ton of concerts, and by a ton, I think we did, wrote them down, 3 concerts, 1 Broadway play. We did Missy, we did Thames, we did Childish, and I went to see The Wiz for a second time on my birthday. The Wiz is my favorite movie. I cannot express to you how much I loved the Broadway revival of The Wiz. The casting director, there should be a Tony for that. I hope there is. Don't really know if there is, but baby, everyone was so well cast. I did an entire episode about it, so we'll save that rabbit hole. Pull myself back out. I will drop in the description box that episode. If it comes to your city, please go. Chef's kiss. 12 out of 10. Highly recommend. I've been a huge Missy fan for I'd say my whole life, but I was alive before Missy became Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. In terms of the performer, because she may have been Missy in the bedroom with the brush, freaky before. But big Missy fan, always been a big Missy fan. Wasn't no fucking way I was gonna miss Missy in my city in New York. So definitely did that. High school me was big impressed. Missy actually retweeted. I think she replied and retweeted something. One of the posts that I made about the concert. Because baby, first of all, saw her at Essence Fest last year. Insane. After that, couldn't not see her. I mean, I would have seen her anyway, but like that, like nail in the coffin, had to. I want to say this was her first headline tour. Also, had to be there. So wildly exciting. We ended up. I actually made a very spontaneous purchase and got Childish Gambino tickets. I had seen him on Hot Ones, and then he was talking about the Bando Stone concert and that this might be his last time performing as Childish Gambino and that he might actually put that character, if you will, to rest. And I was like, oh, pearls in hand, I gotta go. And then I realized like the concert was like 2 weeks away, and it was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm not fucking with Ticketmaster. And then I started to take a nap because I was on break, so I just was just like, rolled over on my couch. And then I couldn't rest. I was just like, yo, if this really is the end of Childish Gambino and he just continues on as Donald Glover in whatever capacity he wants to be as a creative, I would not forgive myself. I would feel a fucking way if I didn't see this concert. So I got his tickets. One of the best spontaneous decisions that I've made in a while. I tend to do them sporadically here and there, but had a fantastic time. Ended up getting like almost the best seats I've had at any concert because there were actually 2 stages. We were like in the second. First of all, where the fuck was it? Was it at Barclay? It was at Barclay. I had never been to a concert at Barclay. I'd only been to a Nets game at Barclay, but we were the second row of, I don't know how to even explain it. We had really good fucking seats. And he had an alternate stage where he was basically, it felt like he was 75 feet away, maybe 50 feet. You don't really want me to gauge distance if it's important. Not my thing. But fantastic seats, incredible show. Enjoyed ourselves. Then who else did we see? I said we saw Thames. We actually saw Thames in Montreal. That was one of the road trips that we took while I was home. We also more on the road trips to come, but we saw Thames in Montreal. I didn't realize until the day before that, I don't know how he did it, but somehow he got general admission tickets. And so we were going to be standing. Initially, I was big mad, but then I was just like, I'm not going to not go to the concert. I'm not going to go into it thinking that I'm going to have to be pissed about something, or I'm going to go into it and have a good fucking time. And baby, I did. That was one of the best concerts I have ever been to. We ended up getting there like 15 minutes before she got on stage. So it was perfect because Mama is at an age where she does not enjoy standing for a long period of time. Um, I avoid it at all costs. I will pay extra for it. I don't know how he did standing. But when I tell you, I am so fucking glad that he did, because I feel like Thames was even closer than Childish was. We had such good seats. We had a good spot right towards the periphery where there was like nobody right behind us, right on top of us. It was just like not mad open space, but it was maybe like 10, 12 feet of open space of like where you would think maybe like a bar area could be. And there were like tiers to the floor, I guess. Like, anyway, we were a little bit higher up, so I was able to see over everybody's head also. And so I just had the perfect little spot, perfect little window where I could see her, everything. It was such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful concert. Had an incredible time. And we're actually going to see Chicago next month, which I am super excited for because Alyssa Milano mentioned my love of all things occult. And so obviously I was a Charmed fan, and Phoebe was my favorite of the sisters. So present will be seated and highly looking forward to Chicago. Also, Chicago's been one of those plays that I've been curious about. I can't even tell you, I don't know the fucking storyline of Chicago. I don't know the plot. I don't know anything about it. I'm debating whether or not I should go into it blind. Y'all tell me if you know any better. Um, let the kid know. Should I look into the storyline before I go, or should I just go and have a good time? Curious as to see what your thoughts are. Anywho, that. So that is kind of where we were. In terms of, I love music, he loves music. We had a great fucking time. And I also did some road trips while I was on break. We did a New England road trip, which is spooky. Salem. I was so excited to visit. So excited to visit that I didn't plan a thing. And we had such a good time. Such a good time. I really enjoyed Salem. We did New Hampshire. We did, where else did we do? We did Gloucester. We did Surrey, and we did Acadia National Park. So stay tuned. I'll have a couple episodes about those pockets that we did along the way. But speaking of road trips, right in time for a 6-year anniversary, we've got an update to the Travel and Ship East Coast road trip itinerary pack. So from 5 cities, we are now at 7 cities, and I want to say 2 of the cities have also been updated. We revisited DC a while ago, so I updated DC. Portland's been added. Salem has been added. Montreal is now like 3 pages worth of things to do, places to eat. I love Montreal, y'all. I've had the best meals of my life that weren't home in Montreal. And yes, my man cooks that well. But I have updated, and I put quite some effort into it. There is a clickable link, by the way, for every recommendation, whether it be something to do, someplace to stay, or someplace to eat. They are all accessible for, if it's a park, you got the Google link to the Google location. If it's a restaurant, you have a link to the restaurant's website. If it is an excursion, you've got a link to where I booked the excursion. If it is a place to stay, you've got a link to the Airbnb. I'm an Airbnb girl. Everywhere except for, I believe, Hartford is an Airbnb. Hartford, we stayed in the Goodwin Hotel. There's a link for everything. So the road trip itinerary pack also happens to have links to the applicable Travel and Shit episodes. So the episode that I'm talking about, Philly, is linked to the Philly itinerary. Same thing with DC, same thing with Portland, Montreal, the whole shebang. as well as a packing list and a pre-trip checklist in terms of things to make sure that you have together, ways to make sure that you can check out your car, to make sure everything is in order for your trip to be completed safely. I am really excited about the update to the itinerary pack, and that is available on the Travel and Ship podcast. You can do travelandshippodcast.com. I believe it's, I'm just going to put the description, not the description, the link in the description, because I think it's travelandshippodcast.com/travel resources. But you can just go to travelandshippodcast.com, and there's literally a button that says travel resources. There's a drop down of itineraries. There's a drop down of specific city blog posts. There are options there to assist. Hope you will peruse through that and find something helpful. I also started a Substack. So the Substack, I think some of you may find very helpful, because I find that so there is always a question that leads me down the rabbit hole, the carrot to the rabbit hole, if you will. The question is the carrot, and the episode, if you will, is the rabbit hole. It's the journey that I went through to answer the question, or the journey I went through after asking the question, whether that be asking the internet a question or whether that be asking a guest a question. But the Substack is my chance to let you in on what the question was that got me started on how we ended up with an episode. And I find that if I write it out, I am less likely to pivot, rabbit hole, tangent, forget where I was, start again, or then end up on something else. So the Substack is the question. It is the carrot. The Substack will let you know how I got here. Where did we begin? This way, you've got more context to why we are talking about what we're talking about, and kind of give you a feel for where I was when we got to this episode. This way, when we do the episodes, we could just jump into the episode. This way, you have like the background conversation, if you will. It's kind of like reading the book before watching the movie. It's kind of giving prequel, if you will. So it's giving originals to the Vampire Diaries. Feel me? So, the Substack. Also, link will be in the description box so that you guys can get a feel of the question. It'll be a fun little descriptor, if you will, to my thought process, give you a little bit of background information into the tinkerings of my brain. And two more things before we get out of here. I was actually featured in quite a few episodes of Podcraft. So Podcraft is this really dope podcast that, what's the best way to do it? Because I don't want to say, I'm hard pressed to say that it's about podcasting, right? But it is about more than just the podcast. It's more about podcast industry things and the world of podcasts. It's hard to describe because it's not my show to describe. I have a hard enough time describing the shit that I do. But I was featured on, I want to say 5 or 7 different episodes as an expert. They had a really, really great interview where I spoke with, I want to say his name is Matthew. Really dope dude. And we just got into a ton of just podcast conversations. And it was a really fun way to highlight the things that happen in the background without having to necessarily be extremely academic about it. It was more of a what happens behind the curtain, how we stay motivated, how different metrics matter to us, what actually doesn't matter. What has your experience been? What are you good at? And it's not just me. There are, I want to say, maybe 10 or so different podcasters. And there are actually some really cool shows that are featured on there. A really fun group of voices, a diverse group of voices. They did a really good job of diversifying the group also. And the episodes came together really fucking well. So if you're curious at all about the background part of podcasting, or if you have your own podcast, or if you're curious about starting a podcast, I would highly recommend checking out Podcraft. Um, I think that we may have some additional things happening in the works, but I will keep you up to date with that. Best way to stay up to date with those things is by joining the Travel and Shit newsletter. Link also in the description box, um, and also by following the Substack. Little pockets and little tidbits updates will be uh, sparsed throughout. What was the other thing that I wanted to mention? Oh, so I don't do lay best with submitting the show to awards during award season, and there are different pockets. Like I find that there's like a ton of different podcast awards like throughout the year, but then there's like a good hub. I dropped the ball this year. Actually, no, I can't even say this year because I've only ever applied to, I want to say, two different awards. I think I applied to the Ambies last year, and I applied to Black Podcasting Awards, and we were nominated this year for Best Travel Podcast. We did not win, but I am grateful to be honored and recognized with the nomination. I'm very proud of the work that I do here, and it is fulfilling to see other people appreciate the work that you do also. So, Toot Toot nominated one of the best travel podcasts 2 years in a row, 2003 and 2004. And I am going to submit to the Ambies again this year, but I would like your help. So, different awards have different processes through which they have you submit. And most of them will have you submit like a particular episode that you feel may be your best. So I went through some of the episodes that I did over the year, and I came up with 4 different episodes that I would like you guys to kind of choose from and let me know what you think I should submit, whether it be your favorite one, whether you just think the content was exceptional, or whether you just think the messaging was just something that like stand out. This needs to be featured. The people need to know about this one. So one was episode 287. How far can a dream take you with Palumi? I have episode 282 with Shadanis about astrocartography. Um, Dr. Walker's episode 281, and also Slow Travel with Nasheen, 279. So I would be curious, again, those links will be in the description box. Let me know what you guys think I should submit of those 4. If there's another episode that stands out to you as your favorite or something that you think would be a better submission option, open, all ears, let me know. That's pretty much it. I've already got a couple of episodes in the bag. I am like, I'm excited for all the guests that I have, but yeah, I'm really excited for y'all to see what is coming down the pipeline. I've got Traveling While Black. I've got Isis Bradford. got, I'll save it. Gianna from Have a Twin. I've got Homeworthy. That's another thing that I fell into. Another rabbit hole I fell into was Home Improvement. If you're not watching the podcast, if you're just listening, you can see my adorable little face on the YouTubes. The podcast is also available on YouTube. So if you want to have something on the TV, if you are a YouTube girly or guy, if YouTube is just your jam and it just happens to be on the house, feel free to subscribe to Travel and Shit on there as well. But I gave the recording space. My office got a little bit of an update, and I totes dig it. Actually have quite a few pieces up here by Black artists. This one in particular, I got this from a young lady at Essence Fest. And this planter, where is it? I don't know how. Okay, here we go. This little planter behind me, so cute. What is it? It says feeling cute might die later. The plant's already dying in there. If I can find her on Facebook again, I will absolutely drop her link in the description box, because she does a lot of really cute planters, and I think I've only bought planters from her, but she's got a couple of other things on her site. Unfortunately, I do not know who the artist of this picture on the wall is. I fucking love it. As soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it and where I wanted it to go. And it took me a year to get it up, but I finally did. And shout out to Randy Hart and Parker Cloud. Randy made that for me years ago. And by years ago, maybe over 10 years ago. But Parker Cloud still going strong. One of my favorite kids animated characters to recommend that the friends and family who are looking for children's content check out. Parker Cloud is just a vibe also, because I'll save that for another one, because I'm really trying to get Randy on here. But the schedule's difficult. Mural artists, check out Parker Cloud on the Instagrams. I'll drop that in the description link just because we fuck with Randy over here. And I believe those are the only pieces that I can guarantee y'all is from Black artists. This is just actually a quote that I absolutely love. It is a Nelson Mandela quote about letting our light shine so that other people have the permission to shine. And it is a reminder for a lot. And I truly hope that that is what's happening here at Travel and Shit. I appreciate you guys for listening to me talk every week. I appreciate y'all for letting me be me, and for letting me get it off my chest and tell y'all about the things that I randomly think about and am curious about and tend to spend time Googling or finding someone to talk to about. I am a strong believer in the creative in me. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know this gift was not placed on me for nothing. I have always been a tinkerer, if you will. I've always been one of those I was a space cadet. I was always in my head. I was always in a book, always had some kind of dream. And shout out to my parents for always influencing and force is not the word, inspire is not the word, supporting that, for pouring into all the different little hobbies. Y'all, I've had a million hobbies, and my parents bought all the things. All the telescopes, microscopes. I bought another telescope, y'all. That was I won't say it was a dumb purchase, but we knew we would have dark sky reserve when we went to Acadia National Park. I knew that I was going to have plenty of beautiful outdoor time and outside of major cities. And best case scenario, I'd be able to see galaxies. I should have bought the fucking binoculars. But I think also I just need to learn how to use the shit that I bought because I have a little thing where if I'm not good at something right away, I don't really want to fuck with it. And funny that I mentioned that there because that isn't this. And that is the major reason why I am so proud of Travel and Shit because it has been the single thing that I have not quit, even if it doesn't look exactly how I think it should look. I have enjoyed this journey so much. And although it has been difficult, it's still difficult. As much as I tend to just like, oh, I gotta record tonight or oh, I gotta record tomorrow. Once I get the lights on and I sit down and I'm behind the fucking mic and I start running my fucking mouth, we're here. We're doing this and I'm enjoying myself. I've never actually sat down and not enjoyed doing this. The leading up to it is kind of like taking a shower. When you're tired or when you just don't want to be bothered, I don't feel like getting in the fucking shower. Nah, I'll take a shower in the morning. I'll take a shower every fucking morning. But some nights it's just like, oh, I just been on the train. I want to take the train fucking off of me. And you always feel better after you do it. You may drag your feet to get your ass in the shower. But once you get in there, I don't know about you, but I've never regretted taking the shower. I hope you haven't either. But I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know what it will be, further down the line. But thank you for allowing me space to let my light shine. I enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. And now that I'm in my feelings, we can wrap the episode up here. I am grateful. I am infinitely curious, and I hope that my curiosities and these episodes are your weekly reminder that travel is so much more than vacation, and there are so many different ways that we can grow through exploring and experiencing the world and the people around us. And I hope that you will continue to join me on that ride every week, every Thursday, here on the podcast and also on the Substack. The Substacks will also be on Thursdays. They will be in tandem to the episode. So you can listen to the episode and then be like, oh, damn, that was interesting. How did we get here? Read the Substack. Or you can read the Substack and be like, oh, shit, that makes sense. I don't know how that's made. Or, oh, damn, I never considered those things to go together. Let me listen to this episode. You feel me? We're here. I'm growing. And I hope that y'all will continue to grow with me. So thank you truly and deeply again. Hello, episode 300. And I'll see you guys next week for episode 301. Bye.